Hello, everyone, and welcome to Eat to Treat. We are a nonprofit that aims to end health disparities. I'm Dr. Amaris Williams for Eat to Treat. I have a PhD in nutrition, and I'm an avid foodie and a cook. Um, I do live cook along cooking demonstrations. That is, cook along as in I make the stuff, you make it with me, and then we eat afterwards. Um, and they are diabetes friendly and hypertension friendly recipes. The kind of mixing it up and doing diabetes friendly and hypertension friendly both the first and the third Saturday of every month, and always at 3 p.m. Eastern. I post the ingredients ahead of time on eat-to-treat.org, so you can join me in the kitchen for a great time making a delicious meal. So today we're making chicken wings and glazed carrots. The chicken wings are in honor of the Super Bowl, but I'm a week late, so forgive me for being late. But let's get started. Okay. Hopefully, I don't know. My screen is a little jumpy, so hopefully everything is smooth on your end. Um, okay. Yeah. Hopefully everything is working properly. So the first thing is we're gonna cut up some aromatic ingredients, habaneros, a small shallot. This is a peeled shallot, and some garlic cloves. You can also use garlic paste for this. Um, and we're just going to use these ingredients to flavor some oil. And we're just going to cook them over low heat in the oil for a few minutes, and that'll flavor the oil, and then we'll use that to flavor our chicken wings. So first step is we're just gonna slice this stuff. There's no need to make it super fine. Um, what we're gonna do is strain it out of the oil once we flavored the oil. Use it to flavor the oil. So there's no point making it pretty or small or anything like that. So I'm just gonna slice the shallot, throw that in the pot, and then I'm just going to put about a half a cup of oil. We're not going to use all the oil if you're concerned about how much oil that is, because half a cup is a lot of oil, but um, we are going to strain it out and only use a little bit of it, and the rest you can use for whatever other recipes you may want. I have two small habaneros here instead of the one that the recipe calls for. If you have a regular size habanero, then you can just go ahead and use one, but I have small ones, so I'm using two. So I'm just slicing it. And the garlic cloves, the easiest way to peel them is to put your knife over them and smash it. Careful not to smash your heel of your palm on the blade of the knife. And then the peel comes right off pretty quickly. And then I'm just going to do that with the other garlic cloves. And get that one good. Okay. And really that's all you need to do. Once the garlic is smashed, it's ready to use. You can just throw it in the oil. But if you're using already peeled garlic cloves, those have not been smashed. You can either smash them or you can slice them. So what I mean by that is you just run your knife through it real quick, keeping your fingertips out of the way, and just throw it in the oil. And I'm going to start this oil cooking on 3 out of 10. So low heat for the oil. All right, and then while that's simmering and flavoring, we are going to cut up the chicken wings. So I have already rinsed chicken wings here. These are whole chicken wings. I've got 12 of them. And all I'm going to do is cut them into drumettes and flats. So this is the tip of the wing. There's no meat there really, so I'm going to cut this off. This is the flat, and this part is the drumette. So how you cut them is the joint between the tip of the wing and the flat of the wing is pretty cartilaginous. I don't really know how to say that. So you can just cut through it pretty easily. The wing tips, I have a plastic bag here for chicken wing tips, and I'm just going to keep them because I can use them to make chicken stock. But then once you get to the joint between the drumette and the flat, this joint is more bony, so you're going to have to cut down to the joint so you can see it. And then if you move if you hold one piece still and then move the other piece, you can see where you need to stick your knife to get in between the joints. So I can see that the piece of bone that's exposed here is moving. When I move this piece, that means it's attached to this piece. Therefore, I need to cut to the right of that piece to get in between the two pieces. And then just that easily, I've got a flat and a drumette. So I'm going to quickly do that for all the other pieces. And you can use the same technique on the wingtips, but it's not really necessary because those joints are pretty cartilaginous. Okay? And I know a lot of people like to eat chicken wings, and most of them are pretty salty, and a lot of them are deep fried. So it's not the healthiest thing to eat all the time, but if you absolutely must have a chicken wing, like if you're craving chicken wings, then this is a good recipe to satisfy the craving without ruining your diet. Okay. Having trouble with this one. There we go. Alright, so my oil is starting to simmer a little bit now, and that's what we want. But we don't want it to start smoking. So low heat, if your oil is smoking, your heat is too high, you can turn it down. And the recipe that I posted on the web calls for habanero. If you don't want your wings spicy, you can use jalapenos. I made this with 2 jalapenos instead of the habaneros, and it came out much less spicy. Okay. Alright. So again, I'm moving one piece to see if the exposed bone moves, and if it doesn't, then I know it's not part of the piece that I'm moving, and therefore I need to cut on one side or the other of it. So it just tells me where I need to put my knife. Another thing you should consider when you're making chicken wings is, I did say that you can use whatever spice blend that you want as long as it doesn't have salt in it, and that's just so that you can control exactly how much salt is in there yourself. So use a spice blend that doesn't have salt, and then add just enough salt to make it palatable to you, and then you have complete control over how much salt you're eating. A lot of spice blends, like for example, Tony Chachere's Creole Spice Blend, the first ingredient is salt. I have this lemon pepper spice blend that I got at Aldi, and I bought it just to illustrate the point. If you go on the back of the label and look where the ingredients are, if the first ingredient is salt, then it's mostly salt. So the first ingredient on any ingredient list is what most of the item is. So for example, if you look at the ingredients list on a package of bread, the first item is going to be flour, because bread is mostly flour. That's what it is. So this lemon pepper seasoning is mostly salt. That's what that is. So you're not getting as much lemon pepper seasoning as you are salt, if that makes sense. So, and salt is cheap, so you can get your own salt for less money, and then add that separately, and then spend your money on the lemon pepper with no salt in it. Okay, so I've got all my chicken wings cut up, and I'm just going to put them in this bowl, and then I'll put the seasoning, whatever seasoning you decided to use, goes in the bowl with the wings. So I originally on the recipe I put 2 tablespoons of seasoning. I think I'm going to update that to 1 tablespoon of seasoning, or maybe 1.5. It depends on how much seasoning you want, but you can eyeball it. So I'm going to start with 1 tablespoon, and then I'm going to turn off this oil and strain it. So I've got a sieve and a bowl, and I'm just going to pour the oil through the sieve into the bowl. Okay, and now I've got the flavored oil. It's hot, but the chicken will cool it down. And I'm just going to pour some into my bowl with my chicken. That was about a tablespoon of oil. So I've got a tablespoon of seasoning and a tablespoon of oil, and I'm just going to mix it up. And we should get some nice spice from the oil and from the Cajun seasoning. And if you went shopping for chicken wings and your local grocery store had them for like $4.50 a pound like mine did, Aldi actually has chicken wings for cheaper. They're about $2.50 a pound, but they were out when I bought these wings, so I had to pay through the nose for them. But if you catch Aldi with chicken wings, or even better, on sale, you can buy them and freeze them, and you can make this recipe whenever you want. Alright, so this is ready to put on the baking tray. And let me just show you what I have. I tried to explain it as best I could on the website, but what I meant by a wire rack to put in the baking tray is to have one of these in your baking tray. And it's basically a cooling rack, but this one you can also put in the oven. And I've got a silicone pad in a baking tray that I use to help protect the baking tray, and then I just put the wire rack in on top of the silicone pad. Now you take your chicken wings and lay them out not touching on top of the wire rack. And the purpose of the wire rack is to let air circulate around them so that they get um, crispy on all sides. And now I'm realizing that I forgot to tell you guys to turn um, your oven on to 425. So please turn your oven on to 425. And when it's preheated, we're going to put the chicken in there. And then the chicken is going to bake for 40 to 45 minutes. And that depends on the size of your chicken wings. If you got really big honking chicken wings, you might need to go up to even 50 minutes to an hour. But I've got relatively small chicken wings here, and I'm going to bake them for 40 to 45 minutes. And one way you can tell how big your chicken wings are is how much they weigh. So if you got 12 chicken wings and they were 6 pounds, then they're bigger than if they were 5 pounds. So, or 4 pounds. So that's how you determine how big your chicken wings are. So mine are pretty small. I got the cheapest package of 12 wings that I could find. So this is what it looks like when it's ready to go in the oven. And my oven's already on, so I'm going to put mine in there. But when yours is preheated, go ahead and put your chicken wings in the oven. I'll be right back. Okay, chicken wings are in the oven. The next thing is the carrots. Now, if you are making this, what you want to do is clean your cutting board thoroughly, because you don't want to cross-contaminate the chicken juice, which has salmonella in it, with carrots, which don't. But I'm just going to wipe mine down, and that's because we're going to bake these carrots. We're going to cook them pretty thoroughly, and they're going to get nice and hot, and that'll kill the salmonella. But if we were going to eat these carrots raw, I would definitely get a different cutting board, or wash it with soap and water, hot water. But we're going to go ahead and continue. So I said a pound of carrots, and that can be baby carrots or the big type of carrots. So I got some baby carrots here, and I've also got some larger carrots. And I'll show you how to cut either one. This is a really big carrot. It's like half a pound by itself. Okay. So if you've got larger carrots, go ahead and peel them. So I'm just going to go ahead and peel my carrot. And once you got it peeled, we're going to cut it into sticks. And if you've got baby carrots, what you're going to be doing right now is just cutting them in half lengthwise, and then in half again, so in quarters lengthwise. And I'll show you what I mean by that. But if you are working with baby carrots, you can go ahead and get started cutting them into sticks. And if you don't want to cut your carrots, you can put them in there whole. The downside, if you're working with baby carrots, this you probably don't want to put in there whole. It's just way too big. But if you're working with baby carrots, you can use them whole if you just don't feel like cutting them up. And it'll just take longer for them to cook, and the glaze may burn a little bit more. It'll brown a little bit more before they're cooked through, so you'll just have crunchier carrots if you don't want your glaze to burn. But this is what I'm talking about lengthwise. Cut your carrots in half. This one's kind of small, so I'm not going to cut it in half again. This one is a bigger one. That garlic skin on it. So I'm going to cut this one in half and then cut it in half again. And so now I've got little sticks. Now if you've got a bigger carrot, first thing you want to do is cut it into sections. And then what you can do with each section is cut a flat side and then cut sticks. And then these I'm probably going to cut again sideways. You just do it however makes nice sticks. It's not, they don't have to be the same size or perfect squares or rectangles. Just cut them into sticks. So I'm just going to cut a flat side so it doesn't roll, then cut planks. And now that I've got my planks, I'm going to turn them on their side and cut sticks out of the planks. Okay, and so now I've got carrot sticks. If you're using a cutting board that has salmonella on it, don't do what I just did and eat a piece of carrot, because that's eating raw salmonella that hasn't been cooked. All right. But it's hard for me to resist eating carrots, as you guys know, if you've been watching for a while. So, almost done with this giant carrot. And then I'll quickly cut the baby carrots up. All right. Just cutting them in half. That one I'm going to pull. I don't know if winter has returned wherever you are, but it snowed yesterday, about 4 inches. So, I had to go out and shovel the snow this morning. Alright, so we're cutting up carrots. The next part is we're just going to dump all the rest of the ingredients in there, besides the cilantro and the peanuts, to make a glaze. And the glaze is going to be tossed around in the carrots. That one's too big. And once the carrots are coated with the glaze, we're just going to put them on a baking sheet and put them in the oven. I strongly suggest that your baking sheet that you use for the carrots should be lined with something. Foil or parchment paper or a silicone pad, whatever you have. Go ahead and line it with something, because when I made this before, the glaze burned a little bit, and it was kind of hard to clean off the pan. So, and this recipe, the carrot recipe, comes from Afro Vegan by Bryant Terry. This is his recipe that I've adapted. In the book, he tells you to blanch the carrots, which just means boil them in salt water. But I'm not doing that. All right, so for the glaze, we need 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. So I'm just going to sprinkle the cinnamon top, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of cumin. I'm just going to use my 1 teaspoon measure and just dump it all in there because I really like cumin. And then I think we need 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. So I've got half a lemon here. And I'm just going to juice it into a bowl because this is not a seedless lemon. Got seeds in it. And then I'll carefully pour the lemon juice, not all of it, just 1 tablespoon of it, into the bowl to while straining it with my finger so the seeds don't come in there. I'm just gonna do this. So I'll get a little bit of pulp in there, but no seeds. That's about a tablespoon. And then we need 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. Oh, this is a tablespoon. 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. And a teaspoon of garlic powder. Not powder, paste, garlic paste. What else am I missing? Let me just check my recipe. Lemon juice, maple syrup, cinnamon, garlic paste, cumin. That's it. Now that we got everything in there, I'm just gonna toss it. Oh, and then you can also add oil to this if you want. I have done it without the oil because I forgot to put the oil in there. But the original recipe does call for oil. And I was thinking that I was going to use this spiced habanero oil and have a little bit of spiciness in my carrots. So I just put about a tablespoon of that in there. And I'm tossing it in there. And everything is evenly coated. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on my lined baking tray. And you should try and get it in a single layer. It'll cook more evenly that way. But if you don't have space on your baking tray, it's fine. All right, and that's it. You put this in the oven. These bake for about 20 minutes. It depends on the size of your carrots, but bake them till they're done enough for you. I like mine a little crunchy still, but 20 minutes gives you a reasonable amount of crunch. And I've already made some, so I'll show you how to finish it with some cilantro and some peanuts. So I'll be right back and get what I've already made. So I've got some carrots, and I've got some chicken wings that I just took out of the oven, so they're quite hot. But you can see how my glaze on my carrots burned a little bit. So, good. Now, so the carrots, I'm just gonna unstick them from the pan now that they're cool. If yours are hot, go ahead and use a spatula or something to unstick them. And I've got my carrots. And the recipe calls for cilantro. Now that I'm actually doing this, I realize that I need another tray cutting board because this one is contaminated with salmonella and I need to cut cilantro, which is not going to be cooked. So I'm going to get another cutting board. Be right back. Okay, so I've got my clean cutting board. And for ease, I'm just going to put it on top of my dirty cutting board. And carefully clean my knife here. And then I have cilantro and parsley. I've got it in a glass. This is how I keep it in the fridge. I just stick the stem ends, in some water in a glass and then put it in the fridge, and it lasts quite a while when you do it that way. So you can use either parsley or cilantro for this. I don't want to put this on my dirty cutting board, so I'm going to use cilantro because I like cilantro, but if you don't like cilantro, of course, use something else. You can also use mint with this. I'm just going to cut some and then put the rest back in the glass. Okay. So I'm just going to mince up some cilantro. And I'm only going to put about half of this in with the carrots that I made previously, because I'm going to use the other half for the carrots that I just made now with you guys. So, and then this is personal preference for how small you want to cut up the cilantro. I think that's good for me. So I'll put some of it in the carrots, and with the carrots here. And then the other ingredient that you want to use your clean cutting board to cut up is peanuts. If you are not allergic to them and you like them, just cut up some peanuts. These are unsalted, dry roasted peanuts. So again, you can add salt to this, but if you buy salted peanuts, then you can't control how much salt you've got in your dish. So I'm just roughly chopping up my peanuts, and I will sprinkle them in with my carrots, and then I'll move this clean cutting board off to the side. And bring this back center front and toss it together. And this is done. The salad is done. The chicken wings are done. You don't need to do anything to those. So I'm just going to make a plate. I'm going to put my carrots on, and I'll get a few chicken wings, maybe about 4. Depends on the size of your chicken wings as what is a serving, but this is my plate. It's not the perfect plate method. The plate method would be half vegetables, 1/4 starch, and 1/4 protein. but I've got half vegetables and half protein. This is like I said, a craving satisfying meal. How much cumin goes in the carrots? One. Well, I put 1 teaspoon, but you can put 3/4 teaspoon if you don't like cumin as much as I do. But this is the finished meal. We've got chicken wings with very little salt on them, and we've got carrots glazed with no salt also. But you can add salt to them if you feel they need them. And that's basically it. So let me change the view. Okay. Slightly crunchy, delicious, a little bit sweet, and let's try a chicken wing. Mm. Good crunch on the skin, good flavor. This Creole seasoning, I will put the recipe to make this on the website. It's, I'm not gonna make a video out of it. It's just getting some dried spices and mixing them together. But I'll put the recipe to that, and then there's no salt in it, and you can make your own. Yep. All right. I'm just sitting here eating the carrots, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off so that I can eat and you can eat. And thanks for joining. Hit the bell and the icon to be notified of the next demonstration. Today we made diabetes friendly and hypertension friendly glazed carrots and chicken wings. Craving satisfying football game snacking meal. And that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop. So bye. Okay, bye.